the weekend, Chicago police were accidentally hit with tear gas during some clashes with protesters. Now, the twist, of course, is that ICE agents were the ones who deployed said tear gas. To which I say,
whoopsie.
So now, look, there's been a lot of protest against an ICE facility in Broadview. There's been a lot of protests. There's been a lot of police actions. There's been a lot of clashes. And ICE, of course, has been caught on video brutalizing some of the protesters there, throwing them to the ground, using tear gas, pepper balls, all this stuff. Now, according to some footage filmed by a witness, Ryan Garza, several officers from the Chicago PD can be seen rubbing their eyes, squinting, and struggling with the after effects of being exposed to tear gas on October 4th. Storyful then verified that tear gas was deployed during this protest, which has led local officials to ask, why are you doing that? What are you doing using those weapons here in our cities? Like, what is going on with you? Okay, you're actually harming our first responders. In fact, you've got Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills, all right, who's been speaking out against ICE, saying that his officers have been exposed multiple times to tear gas during previous incidents involving ICE agents. He said that the repeated exposure creates a dangerous situation for the community and its first responders. Now, Mills is the same guy who also noted previously over the past week or so that he was the target of verbal harassment from an ICE agent.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. You know, they were coughing, and I was on the phone with them, and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Gee, you know, I wonder why an ICE officer was criticizing this police chief. You know, I just gotta wonder about that. But look, here's the thing. Mills has also accused immigration agents of making fake 911 calls. Yeah, including one instance in which an agent had reported somebody tampering with a gate at the Broadview facility. When officers arrived, of course, they found only a photographer and a security guard outside of the building. Look, this is more evidence, as if we actually needed more evidence, right? That ICE is a rogue agency at this point. No one has been proven more correct than the ones who said abolish ICE, of which I was one of, by the way. I said that they were going to do stuff like this, and this is what they're doing. Now, what did the Democrats do, by the way? They funded ICE during the Biden administration. And then Donald Trump funded it even more. He dumped about $100 billion on them. Which means now ICE is better funded than most modern militaries across the world. And you know what? The people who are working for them, okay, are exactly the types of people that you think they are. Oh, yes. NPR, for example, recently went to a DHS hiring fair and interviewed people applying for one of the allegedly open 10,000 ICE positions. Okay. Ana Maria Vargas, a correctional officer in Arizona, had been one of the applicants there, interviewed, and she said that she was brought there because of Dean Cain. Yeah, that's right. Dean Cain. I saw that guy that played Superman on the TV so many years ago. The Superman. who's not exactly living the ideals of Superman, by the way. That's what brought you in? Lovely. Now she said, a lot of us still have the desire and want to serve our country, yet we don't know how to get into it because of the age restrictions, which ICE had removed. You can be as young as 18, or you could be, at this point, elderly. They don't care. They're going to give you a mask and a gun. Have at her, they say. Varga said she wants to take out the bad guys, though she acknowledged that there are a lot of good people that are here. However, they are here illegally. No, actually, that's not true. Most of the people that have been arrested by ICE, the vast majority of, haven't done any crimes. And there's a lot of people that are being picked up. American citizens, for example, have been picked up by ICE. Okay? Including the recent immigration raid in Chicago that targeted an apartment building. Okay? You had American citizens being rounded up in the middle of the night. I mean, this is insanity. Absolute insanity. Now, there's more. Andrea Alexander, an attorney living in Utah, she had learned about ICE's recruitment efforts from the X account of White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. So, already, big red flag if you're following that guy. Okay? Here's what she said. I love Trump. I love his administration. I think he's going to save our country. There's another applicant who was a little bit more, even more honest, I should say, and said, quote, I think there's way too many illegal immigrants here. If I get the job, I can't wait to go deport people. Wow. That's who's signing up for ICE. That's who's signing up for ICE and accidentally tear gassing the cops. Whoops. Now, here's the interesting thing about all this, okay? Normally, law enforcement tends to stick together, the big blue wall, right? Or I should say the thin blue line. I think that's what it is. Blue wall, something else. Okay, but here are police officers, especially a police chief, openly criticizing immigration because they've been overstepping their bounds. They have been getting now other law enforcement officers hurt. And it's because they're incompetent, for one, okay? The incompetence mixed with the brutality is creating an absolute PR nightmare, which is not going to get any better. I mean, look, you want to look at some of the polling, right? How people feel about ICE. It's not good. Quinnipiac University, in a July 2025 poll, found that 57% of voters disapprove of the way ICE is enforcing immigration law. It's a clear majority. A July 2025 poll revealed that 54% of Americans believe ICE has gone too far in enforcing immigration law. And a YouGov Yahoo poll taken in late June showed that ICE's favorability is underwater by about 13 points. 39% favorable to 52% unfavorable. And one recent analysis from CNN's Aaron Blake finds that ICE is now even more unpopular than it was during Trump's first term, which is when you had the Abolish ICE protests. That's when they were the loudest. And now, of course, you don't hear any of that from members of Congress or massive protests, but still people don't like what ICE is doing. In fact, Verdessa Cardenas, an executive director of a pro-immigrant advocacy group, America's Voice, spoke to Vox and said people are seeing what a mass deportation agenda looks like in real life. And Democrats are seeing what a police state looks like. Both things that we had warned them against. Okay, warned them about. They can speak up and denounce what's happening, but this is an opportunity for Democrats to take positions that, yes, call out the extreme tactics that ICE is deploying and present alternative ways, but don't just allocate billions of dollars to the enforcement machine in this country. Now, do I have a lot of faith in the Democrats? No, I don't. this just comes from being a leftist that has criticized the Democratic Party from the left and encouraged them, don't do it. Do not go to the right. Don't keep pivoting. Don't keep chasing the right wing on things like immigration. Don't do that. And they did it anyway. That said, to be fair, yes, Biden has been doing hardline immigration stuff, of course. But there is a big difference. There is a big difference. I'm not saying both parties are the same. All right? Biden wasn't doing stuff like this, obviously. Now, he was doing some, again, hardline immigration stuff. He was turning people away using a Trump-era immigration law, Title 42. That's Trump-era COVID, way to turn people away at the border. And yes, he deported a lot of people. That said, while I believe that Joe Biden was too right-wing on immigration, okay, was he as cruel as Donald Trump? No. And here's the thing. Republicans didn't just want border enforcement, okay? They wanted cruelty. That's why they voted for Donald Trump. They wanted more cruelty. They wanted more racism. They wanted violence towards immigrants. And they got what they voted for in spades. And they love it. They absolutely love it. That's what I need to get across to people. You ask Trump voters, you ask the MAGA faithful if they like what's going on, and they will tell you, abso-frickin-lutely we do. You can't reason with those people. They see the cruelty that's going on, and they absolutely love it. This is what I voted for, they say. Well, okay, there it is. Cruelty was the point. We know that. You got what you voted for, you love it. Fine. But the normies, suddenly they're like, oh my God, this is horrifying. What did we do? What the hell? What is this? Well, we did warn you. We told you that this was what they were planning on doing. Okay. And yet, again, you do have those normies. You do have even law enforcement that are like shocked now about how much this administration and how much their supporters are delighting at this cruelty and absolutely loving it. Oh my God, this is, I don't recognize this country. I do. And once again, I did warn you.